Hello everyone, welcome to Jump Up Supercast, the only podcast on the internet that's a loot-based, multiplayer, open-world experience. I'm Will, and this week, Brandon.
I'm the boss character at the end that nobody can beat, and everybody just... I don't know, what did you just combine a whole bunch of genres there?
And Ills.
The best is yet to come!
Good. My favorite video game character. That is Brandon. That's what every video game is now, what I just described.
Oh, is that that's like what the Avengers is, right?
And, I mean, I guess we'll just get into it. That's also what the two games announced from Warner Brothers are. That they announced at their Fan Dome. We talked about this last week a little bit because we talked about Rocksteady's workplace culture being pretty crappy, which obviously we don't want to forget about in this conversation. They've launched a third-party investigation since we recorded last week's podcast. Hopefully that helps improve things, and you know, I feel like those things are apparent, but they're worth saying. But they are still making a video game, and that game is Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League. A bad subtitle, but we got a trailer that was CG. It was CG, right? And we're not at this point, though, in Next Gen, by the way, where I look at trailers and I'm like, are they trying to pass this off as gameplay? Are you saying this is gameplay right now? Or this is in-game, I guess, in engine?
I don't know.
I feel like usually they're like, if that is the case, they make it a big deal to like show it in the bottom corner. Like, oh, this is it in engine footage. You better recognize, you know, they really want you to know that. So I feel like if it was, I think they would have.
I know, but it throws me off a little bit.
I always roll my eyes when I see a cinematic trailer anyway. Like, it's the most boring shit ever.
Yeah.
Like, it's never worthwhile to me. I just want to see gameplay.
Well, in this cinematic trailer that had no meaning for you, we learned that the characters in the Suicide Squad game are the three characters that are coming back from the first Suicide Squad movie and King Shark, which is to say Deadshot, Harley Quinn, Captain Boomerang, and King Shark, who I'm the most excited to play as because playing as a big buff shark in a video game sounds pretty cool to me. But in terms of the game itself, they did talk about after that it is a 4-player, open world, loot-based, co-op or single-player based experience. You might be wondering if that is not unlike the description, like you said, for the Avengers game earlier, and the answer is yes, it seemingly is. But I guess with that being said, this is the first time since Rocksteady has blew up their name with the Arkham games that they're doing something else, right? Is this the thing you were hoping for, or is this sort of how do you feel about just at least the concepts they've illustrated in the trailer?
I didn't watch the trailer, but like I heard all the, you know, I saw all the things about like what the gameplay is like or whatever.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I don't care really. I feel like I'm afraid of the Avengers. Right, and then because I'm already afraid of that, just I think by default I'm already afraid of this. Like, it is Rocksteady. I mean, I like the Batman games a lot, so that's like, you know, that gives me a little bit of hope. But also, you know, Crystal Dynamics is Crystal Dynamics. I like Tomb Raider a lot, so I don't know. It's just like there's good people behind these games.
Sure,
but I just don't know, man. I'm going to say I'm not looking forward to it, though. If it's good, then cool, I'll play it. But if not, then, yeah, no love lost here.
I mean, I like the concept of the Suicide Squad. I like DC in general. And, yeah, I mean, hopefully it's good. I have nothing against the premise of it. Just hopefully the execution is there.
Yeah.
The only thing that matters.
Yeah. I want to kill Superman. You know, Superman sucks.
I was gonna say that subtitle is worth mentioning, right? They've really gone heavy in more recent years of the hey man, what if Superman was evil? What can you imagine if Superman was a bad guy? What would you do? And they're leaning into that here, right?
Yeah.
But one thing I don't like about the trailer is that, like, from the very first shot, I saw a big skull with glowing purple eyes, and then Superman's eyes are glowing purple at the end, and I was like, oh, it's probably just Brainiac. Like, are we gonna actually be killing the Justice League in the game called Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League? Because they're all brainwashed, right? Which, who knows? Well, that's years off. It's 2022, right? So there's
yeah, I mean,
gonna be a while.
I doubt they're gonna go like fully all in. Like you're actually killing the Justice League.
Yeah.
Like they're actually good guys and you're killing them. No, they're not doing that. It's not happening.
I do think a thing that was interesting is they did say specifically it's multiplayer, it's 4-player co-op, right? Or in single player you can swap between characters, right, as you're playing. And they said that each character has a different way of traversal, right? Because they do say that, like, in the Arkham games, there's going to be, like in Arkham games, there's the grappling hook fly mechanic, right? Sort of when it gets more open world. Yeah. And that sort of there would be that for these characters, right? And so sort of the one I got a clear impression of in the trailer is Captain Boomerang, right? Because Captain Boomerang is a Flash supervillain originally, and he used to have super speed, right? And essentially they seem to be treating his super speed as like a teleport in this game, right? So he throws his boomerang in the trailer and just teleports to where it is, right? And that's probably how you're getting around as him, right? And so I think that it'll be interesting, hopefully, that they'll differentiate these characters to make them clearly significantly different, not only in just like shooting and like their melee, but also like how they get around in an environment.
Wait, how does Harley Quinn get around?
That is the question I'm not sure about, because she does. I think they show her doing like grappling hook stuff basically, right? She's like swinging from a rope, right?
Yeah.
Deadshot has like a jetpack, and King Shark is just jumping around,
So
like
King
the
Shark
Hulk
is
does.
the Hulk? Yeah.
King Shark is the Hulk, yeah.
Got it.
Which is funny because I wonder if Killer Croc was coming back, if Killer Croc would have been in the King Shark spot, but they're like, no, we're doing that now. But yeah,
like Killer Croc is a better character than King Shark, but okay.
Yeah. He's more well known at least, right? But
Yeah.
a lot of this is obviously still riding on all these games are relying first and foremost on the success of the movies, right? Ultimately, in terms of like raising awareness of these characters, like Harley Quinn. I think actually it's worth mentioning. Really, Harley Quinn, like she got introduced in the animated series, right? Then got brought into the comic books. But I feel like for a lot of people, the Arkham games were also where like Harley got a lot of time to shine, and people became more aware of her too, right? So it's interesting because she's probably the most like biggest rise in popularity of a comic character in the last 10 years, right? It's not like an MCU character.
She was a really big character in the animated show. Like she was Joker's right hand.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just like now, like she's the face of like DC's like girls group,
she's
right?
like mainstream now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
I mean, there was that time after Suicide Squad where like every single like person on Halloween was like Joker and Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous.
Definitely. I worked at a middle school, and I saw so many teenage girls be like, "Yeah, me and my boyfriend are just like Harley Quinn and the Joker." I'm like, "No, that's bad. Do not base your relationship off them. It's literally abusive."
There, yeah.
Yeah.
But you're 13 and dumb. It's fine. So that's Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Don't get into bad relationships when you're 14 years old. That's the moral of that game. Besides that, there was another game announced from Warner Brothers Interactive, which may or may not be getting sold off, which is the Gotham Knights. Gotham Knights. We're having Batman is dead. So this is the funny thing. Before we get to it, right? You would think. Okay, this is Warner Brothers Montreal, right? They made Batman Arkham Origins before this. It's their most well-known game. A game that I think, it's not as good as the other Arkham games, but I think it gets a little bit too much crap for what it is, right?
Yeah. I've heard it's actually a pretty competent game.
Yeah. And if you played Batman Arkham Knight, spoiler alert, plug your ears if you don't want to hear. Batman is dead at the end of that game. And so this trailer opens and is like Batman sending out his message to all of his proteges, right? Which include the Red Hood and Nightwing and Batgirl and Robin, and is like, yo, I'm gone. You need to take over, right? It's your time to shine. And I thought, okay, this is clearly a continuation of the Arkham games. It's not. This is a game where Batman just also happens to be dead at the start. But I think the main problem why is that Barbara Gordon has her legs in this game. So That's
Well,
it.
there are multiple Batgirls. Why didn't they just use a different Batgirl?
Yeah, I don't know. I think as Barbara is the most popular of most well known of them, right? But this is I set 4 characters there in the same way as there are 4 characters for Suicide Squad, and they all are supposed to play differently. You're playing as them. They're supposed to have different play styles, right? This one did have a gameplay demo, a full 15 minutes to be shown off, where you primarily played as Batgirl in a part where you're fighting against Mr. Freeze and his goons, right? And this one's only 2-player co-op, which is weird. And they said you can both play as the same character in co-op. So you can just be
no
2
fighting
Batgirls.
with your siblings.
Yeah, no.
If your brother wants to play, let him play as Nightwing. You can both do it.
You can both be Nightwing. So yeah, so with this, right? I would say this one's.
This is so weird. Like, if it's not related to the Arkham Knight games, why didn't they add like more recent characters like Damian or something? Like, fuck. Like,
yeah.
Why didn't they just open it up then?
I mean, it's a good question. I think there's always a weird thing with comic books, right? Of how far do you go in on stuff, right? Mm-hmm. But I do think like Jason Todd as the Red Hood is like, that's like not like the most well known, right? Like,
well, it's been like 20 plus years since that happened.
I know, but it's this thing where they're just like, they always seem really like weird about going too far in, right? Like, you don't dip too far into Batman's rogue of villains because you have the 8 that are well known, right? And you just sort of cycle through those.
Yeah.
And I think you sort of have that same thing with his supporting characters. But this, I would say, is more directly continuing the Arkham style of games, right? Though they are throwing in some RPG-based, leveling up, loot-based, multiplayer, open-world systems, which they claim nothing will be level-gated. They claim you can fight, you can do whatever, whenever. But when you fight an enemy in that demo, you see numbers pop up, which lets you know that you're going in an area you shouldn't be. Those numbers will probably be the thing that's actually gating you off, right? Like, you might be clearly underleveled. So I mean, as if this is sort of where the Arkham games style will continue on, how do you feel about what they've shown off so far?
If it has online multiplayer, I'll be willing to give it a shot. I mean, I love Batman. I love the DC universe, like I said before. I'll give it a shot. Not too hot about the storyline so far, but whatever. We'll see.
Yeah. Is there anything they could bring in that would make you be into the story from like the comics?
If they find a way to incorporate like a lot more characters, like fucking Batman Beyond, Terry McGinnis, or Damian, or all this shit like that.
Batman Beyond, that'd be fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah. The Bat Who Laughs is a raid boss. Please be excited.
There you go.
There it is. So that was DC Fandom. There were other things, right, that they showed off, but those were the 2 big ones, right? It's very funny that like
the video game ones, right? I think that was it, right?
Yeah.
Unless they showed off a mobile game.
Yeah, to my knowledge, they didn't. It's funny that in the montage for Fandom, they did include Mortal Kombat 11 as part of their opening montage for like the whole event, and I was like, oh, I wonder if Mortal Kombat's going to be here, and it wasn't. So you're like, okay, whatever. Yeah. I do think it's funny that they sort of like very clearly were like, listen, we've had Batman as sort of our guy for so long, and like we love Batman, but we want to move beyond Batman a little bit, and by that we mean a game where you play as 4 of Batman's proteges and a series that in the wide consciousness is heavily associated with Batman.
Basically, pretend Batman.
Yeah. So there it is. But I get also why they're hesitant too. Superman, hard to do in a video game. Still not sure how you do it. You're right. He's too strong. But
sucks.
Yeah. Here's a question before we move on.
You can do it.
Do you think we're ever getting an Injustice 3?
Justice League?
Injustice 3, excuse me.
Oh, Injustice 3. I have no fucking idea.
Because I'm like you said, because Injustice 2 they were already pulling deep, and so I wonder if they're just with Injustice 3 they're just like, listen, we don't know.
Did you play those games?
I never played Injustice.
Yeah, I have played those games.
What did you think?
They're them and Mortal Kombat, like I said the other week, are the best like single player fighting game stories like that are out there, right? And so like I typically wait till they're like 20, but I pick it up and I play it for like a night or two, right? They typically last about 5 hours, and I'm just like, hey, that was a fun thing, and then I get my ass kicked online, and I'm like, see you later, right? But for $20, that's a good time.
Sounds about like that's the fighting game experience right there.
Yeah, unless you got friends that are willing to just be bad with you.
Yeah.
But yeah, so anyways, like I said, that's DC Fandom. That was, I guess, over a week ago now when you hear this, but there were a couple of other presentations this week that I would say were not particularly noteworthy, but hey, we're going to talk about them, at least in some format, right? So we had our second Nintendo Direct Partner Showcase, right? The last one we had SMT, a few other games, right? This one I would not say had that anchor point for it, right?
It definitely didn't.
This one,
Kingdom Hearts,
Puyo Puyo Tetris 2, which is a game.
That's actually the one game I was excited for.
Same.
I was excited for it, but I don't know what's new. Like,
yeah, neither do I.
The trailer.
Either, but
yeah.
I mean, in the rest of that stuff, I mean, yeah, that's gonna be the best game.
Hey, let's not be disrespectful to our good friend Jump Force Deluxe Edition, okay?
Can I ask you a question?
Sorry.
What's up?
Sorry, Jump Force.
How do you play Just Dance? Do you like put something on?
No.
Does it track your movement somehow?
The Joy-Con.
You hold the Joy-Con in your hands and it does it. Ow.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What? All right.
Just a shake. It's a shake.
Yeah, Just Dance is not actually a skillful game. It basically just tracks, are you moving, right?
Yeah, exactly. You could sit down and play that game if you want to.
Okay.
That's not the point.
I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, no. This is like Just Dance was far more party based. Remember Dance Central on the Kinect, right?
Yeah, Dance Central was like, I'm going to track your whole body.
Yeah, it's like your leg's out of place. You're in trouble, brother.
Yeah.
Whereas Just Dance is like, you moved your body. Great job.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, is why Just Dance is still around. You know,
yeah, it's more popular.
Dance Central isn't.
Anybody can do it.
Yeah. And it's like, I can't get mad at Just Dance. Besides that, there was, like you said, there was Kingdom Hearts Melody of Memory, which we did not talk about when it was announced, but I do think it's beautiful that the Kingdom Hearts rhythm game is the first canonical story to take place after Kingdom Hearts 3.
Beautiful is one word to use, I guess.
The story, they remain unchanged. Do you think is wrapping up the Xehanort stuff going to change how they present Kingdom Hearts? The answer is no. They're still doing Kingdom Hearts.
I thought the series was supposed to move away from Sora. What the fuck?
It's supposed to move away from Xehanort.
Oh god, it's more Sora.
It's more Sora. Though also there's also, what's his name? Yazora. Yazora.
Oh my god, the fucking fake
Not
Final
Noctis.
Fantasy 13 or whatever. Versus 13.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
You talking about the fucking guy at the end of the cutscene on the end of the game? Are you talking about that guy?
Yeah, we're just opening spoilers for Kingdom Hearts 3. If you haven't played the game, it's going to sound like nonsense. If you have played the game, it probably still sounds like
I
nonsense.
mean, it is nonsense.
No,
Absolute.
the guy from Verum Rex, that part of the
Yes.
game is so fucking stupid.
And he's the fight for the DLC. He's like the final fight.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Fuck me.
And he uses all of Noctis's moves that did not get implemented in 15.
Yeah, I mean, they were saying, like, this is fucking Nomura's, like, revenge.
It's his revenge. It's still in his brain. He's not gonna be... He's never free.
I fucking hate it so much. I hate it. I hate it. God,
I think it's
hate
hilarious. It makes me laugh a lot.
It's
but
so dumb. I hate it so much.
yeah. Well, you can now run on... I mean, I guess it should be worth mentioning, genuinely. Kingdom Hearts does have generally banger soundtracks, right?
Yes.
So,
Yes.
I mean, this is a game I picked up, like, the Theatrhythm games when they were, like, $20 at GameStop, right? I'm probably gonna do the same thing with this game.
God, what a Kingdom Hearts simp.
What a simp. That's me.
Yeah, I don't see myself. I've played Kingdom Hearts 1, 2, and 3, and like that was my. I haven't played like any of the spin-off games, and I don't feel like I'm missing that much not playing them. to be honest
Yeah.
with you.
Well, I played all of the spin-offs, and I don't think I'm going to play this game.
3 different paths in the forest that diverge. Then they also had Taiko no Taisujin Rhythmic Adventure Pack, which is actually 2 3DS games put together and are being put on the Switch. They never came to America, so this is the first time they're coming to the West. And they are RPG. So the Taiko games are like the rhythm-based games. You have it typically is associated with the arcade where they have a big taiko drum that you would hit, right? You can buy little ones for your house, but this one there's monster. It's basically Pokemon. You're recruiting monsters and adding them to your party and leveling them up, and then going out on missions. Which is cool.
This is probably the game I'm second most interested in during this entire thing. So.
I don't know what this track list will look like. I probably could look it up because it's been out in Japan. But there's over 130 songs, which is a lot. And they
licensed songs, or
they typically have a bunch of licensed songs. Like the one I have on Switch, there's a ton of anime openings, right? Like they got the Naruto, they got the Dragon Ball, they got the One Piece,
what?
they got.
Yo, I didn't know that. Okay,
yeah,
maybe I'm into this now.
And they have a ton of DLC that's also there. You know, Undertale. The neatest thing in that Taiko game is for the Undertale music. There's a pacifist route for every song, where if you don't hit any notes, there's a different path you go down.
What
the fuck?
It's pretty clever.
Huh?
It's wild.
Yo, how do you not lose?
It takes you to you're almost dead, and then it goes and it swaps lanes, and then suddenly you're doing a different song entirely.
Then do you play after that?
Yeah, then you play after that. Okay. Which is just a fun gimmick, but anyways.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah, pretty neat. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered. This is a public service announcement. They fucked it up. Sad.
The masterpiece returns.
The masterpiece does return. So this is a game that originally was entirely multiplayer, right? From the jump. Now the
Game Boy Advance out.
Yeah, it was entirely multiplayer, but it took a lot of effort, right? It took 4 Game Boy Advance link cables. So suddenly, we talked before, this is like, clearly, look at this. We can all just play online. We all have our own screens. We're good. It turns out the only multiplayer parts are now the dungeons for the game, and progress is only given to the host. So if you want to complete the story, you're all going to have to do everything 4 times over. And as well as there's microtransactions in the game.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I looked at the DLC. There's like 6 of them or 10 of them or some shit, and they're like costumes and extra weapons.
How do you fucking fuck this up? How long? Okay. How long were they developing this game, right? This is a remake.
It's got delayed twice.
It was like 2 years. It announced 2 years ago. It probably took them less time than that to fucking make the original game.
Yeah.
Why the fuck did it take them so long?
Man, it's there is one use case I can see, right? Which is
defend them.
Which is so we talked about this. They announced this when we didn't know all this other stuff, which is that there's a free version of the game. For that's sort of like, like DS had download play where one person had the cartridge and everyone else could play off it, right? Mm-hmm. They basically have that for online multiplayer. So the first 15 dungeons in the game, if one person has it, everyone else can join, and you can play through those dungeons together with only one person buying the game. So I guess if 4 people all want to put in $10 to play the dungeons together, you could do that. But I mean, I would say that's not what I wanted when I first heard about this game.
No.
I mean, you would think like people want a complete experience when they buy a game, but who knows?
You would think, but here we are. Any other things you want to talk about? You want to talk about Big Rumble Boxing Creed Champions?
I mean, honestly, that game looked pretty good if I was into that. Like, if I was into boxing games, that game kind of looks cool. I think it looked kind of neat.
You know, I am kind of sad that Fight Night died. This is more cartoony. But just there's not a lot of good boxing games out right now, you know?
Ready to rumble boxing, bring it back. It's time.
Yeah, I mean the fighting looked like it was satisfying, but I was just so confused why it wasn't like named Rocky or Creed or something like.
Yeah,
why was it named
weird
like
name.
some weird ass fucking name?
Yeah, I felt like is Big Rumble Boxing another franchise? But I looked it up, I didn't really see anything. so I don't know.
Yeah, that's really weird. They had the license, clearly. I don't know why they don't just call it, like...
Yeah, and
like,
it's
I don't know,
only
something
Rocky
else.
characters, right? So
Yeah.
Rocky something. Rocky
You got
Boston,
Drago,
right?
you got Rocky, you got Creed, you got
Clubber Lang,
Clever Lang.
Yeah.
Apollo.
Yeah.
Looked kind of good, though. I thought it looked alright.
Not visually, but, you know, yeah.
Gameplay-wise, though.
Gameplay-wise,
Pretty good.
yeah.
It seemed like it had a little satisfying, you know, like when you're hitting people. It seemed like it felt kind of satisfying, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the vibe I got.
And then there was also the collection of Saga Final Fantasy Legend, which is the thing where they were in Japan they were Saga games, but in America they got turned into Final Fantasy Legend games because they figured it's a bigger name.
Yeah.
And there's 1, 2, and 3, right? Which I think is cool. I think that's a neat thing.
Like some baby's first RPG type of game.
It's a Game Boy RPG, original gameplay, so it's pretty basic.
I think they're made to be very easy on purpose too, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. So there it is. But that was the Nintendo Mini Partner Showcase. Boys, I don't think we're getting a Direct this year.
You don't. Most. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to
You don't have to talk about it. When's the next Smash character? That's my only question.
Yeah, that's what I care about. Are we even going to get that this year?
I don't know. There's the outstanding things we know of for this year for Nintendo that exist is maybe a Smash character, the rumored Mario collection, which who knows, right? And the Pokemon expansion, the Part 2, our Crown Tundra.
3, don't forget.
And Pikmin 3 Deluxe, you're right. So, I don't know.
That Pokemon expansion is the only thing from Nintendo I'm really looking forward this year. Unless the Mario collection is real.
Yeah.
But
Which,
then at the same time, there's not one new, like, actual new, brand new Nintendo game releasing, like, for the rest of this year. Which is so weird.
yeah.
It's just so weird.
But
I get it.
It is what it is.
It's just so weird.
Next, we had the Gamescom opening night live presented by Jeff Keighley.
Thank you, Jeff.
Thank you, Jeff. Jeff,
already.
this was the send off of Keighley's Summer of Games. He did a bunch of other stuff throughout the last couple months. I would say the biggest thing that he had was the Tony Hawk Remaster collection. I think it still is the biggest thing that was at this whole thing, but it's fine.
That one good
They
one.
have Crash 4. Wasn't that a thing, too?
Oh, Crash 4 might have been part of Summer Games. I think you're right.
I don't know.
So that's the best thing, actually.
Wait, wasn't that
Activision.
in the PS4 thing?
No, it was because we thought it should be because Moose complained a lot. Why wasn't this at the PS4 thing? But anyways, it was because it was announced
It was
before
at the
that.
PS4 thing, but it wasn't at the PS5.
Was it the PS5?
But
thing?
it's because
Yeah.
it's a PS4 game. So
Yeah.
that's probably why.
And it had been announced before the PS4 event. But both of the things were Activision. I now realize. So Activision's carrying Jeff.
They love them.
So I mean, I have in front of me the list of things here. I could hit some of them, but does anything stick out in your brain? Anything that you saw?
Yes.
Okay.
Fall Guys Season 2. That was what I was most excited about.
You know, we
That's why I
haven't
tuned
talked about Fall Guys on this podcast, really, since it came out.
in. No. But I've been streaming it on twitch.tv/Up
Yeah. Let's just talk about Fall Guys really fast.
Sure.
Because I said a couple weeks ago that Animal Crossing is the game that's the story of the year of 2020. I think Fall Guys now has to be included in that conversation. It's blew up. It's huge. It's at 9 million copies sold on Steam already. It's the most downloaded PS Plus game of all time.
Love to
It's
see it.
breaking records on Twitch. Why, Brandon?
Mediatonic.
Why?
Mediatonic. I'm happy for them. You know, indie developer. They also made, they made a few other games, but one of them I played earlier this year, Murder by Numbers. I loved that game.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved that game. So to see them with this now too, and just to see the success, I'm like really happy for these people.
Mm-hmm. Why do you think it's blowing up?
Why? Because it's easy. Not that it's easy to win, but it's easy to understand and play. It's anybody can play it, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, it's good level design too. Like, I just think there's a lot of things that contribute to why it's blown up. But I think one of the biggest ones that how accessible it is.
Sure.
It's fun to not only play, but it's also fun to watch,
mm-hmm.
and it's also easy for anybody to pick it up and play it. So I think in terms of it's number one on Twitch now. Beating out League of Legends and shit. So it's like that's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And so that just goes to show you just how much fun it is to even watch people play. You know?
I think part of the reason why it's number one on Twitch is because they're having a Twitch Rivals thing about it. But yeah.
I think but I mean, sort of speaking of that Twitch Rivals thing, Mediatonic, you said, was an indie team, but boy, they've done some great marketing for this game, right? Just like putting it out there all over the place in terms of...
Devolver definitely helped.
Yeah.
That, being the publisher.
Yeah, crossovers with stuff right at launch. A lot of Twitter game. Their Twitter game's very good.
Shout out to them.
Yeah, a lot of... But we talked a while back when we ranked Mario Party 2, right? And we said it's actually really hard to make a game where the most skilled player doesn't always win, but people still like to play it, right? Because I think that's part of the reason that like Mario Kart is so big that Mario Kart is, right? Is that Mario Kart, I think they said literally in the lead up to ARMS that they designed Mario Kart where the most skilled player wins about 70% of the time. And there's a 30% time that you just, someone else gets lucky, right? But for people that aren't super hardcore into games, that 30% is enough of a carrot on the stick that it feels way more welcoming, right?
Yeah, it's that rush, and then they want to continue to play, which is good because then eventually they'll be that 70% person,
Yeah, and I think that's what Fall Guys it threads the needle on really well, right? Is like when you lose, you're like, no, I died, but there's enough nonsense that it's never really your fault, and so you're sort of like, if I just get back in it, I can win. Actually, though, right?
And also, you're relying on other people to either help you with the team parts or be worse than you with the...
with Seesaw, which is just the biggest social dynamic you've ever seen. You just see how...
Oh, yeah.
A person is smart, but people are dumb, right?
Yeah.
Are we going to work together, or are we just going to stand on one side where everybody fucking fucks us?
Just dies over and over. So yeah, Fall Guys is... I think it's a phenomenon, and I think it's very interesting to see how much it's blown up. But yeah, and like you said, very quickly with this presentation, when you heard it was on, the thing you saw was Fall Guys. They were like advertising, they were like, Fall Guys' season 2 is going to be here, right?
Yeah.
And that got you to watch. What is in season 2? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I'm really looking forward to like new maps because I'm a little bit tired of like some of them, but yeah.
There's new. They didn't show off a ton, but they showed off something. There's going to be like new maps, probably new game modes. I don't know if that's for sure, but I'm sure there will be. New characters. And I think the biggest thing is that it's all of season 2 is based around a single theme.
Yeah.
So it's like medieval theme, and you got dragons and wizards and knights and stuff for the costumes. And all the level designs are based off of medieval. So I guess they're kind of shifting. I've got my best guess is they're going to do this for each season, like have a different theme. And they, right now it's the colorful, felt type looking kind of game show type thing that they got going. But it's still a game show at the end of the day, but they're changing the theme, so it's cool. That looks fun. They showed off like the ring game where you have to jump through the hoops, Hoopsie Daisy.
Yep.
And it's the same game, but just with a new map with different things to traverse and stuff. So
yeah,
that should be fun.
Fuck Hoopsie Daisy.
I do think it's funny. I think they're hiring. I think they've been broadcasting on Twitter, hey, we're hiring, because I think they were sort of caught with their pants down on how big this game was going to be.
Yeah, their social media team's hiring too cause they're probably working a lot.
And so I imagine that they're I imagine their pipeline of how fast they were going to have things out, they're trying to speed up a lot, because they want to keep feeding the engine of the train,
Yes.
Right. Yeah. You gotta catch that. Keep that fire going.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, and they've already done, honestly, a pretty good job of listening to player feedback and updating the game. They've had a couple updates already that have like addressed some of the things that people have had small complaints about or big complaints, and so
no more big names.
No more. I can't wait for the return of names, but
true, I miss them. I hate being Fall Guy 2 whatever, 2000 whatever.
I'm Fall Guy 1515. Catch me out there.
And so we were on the ground floor. Look at that number. But yeah, so that was there. Also, in the category of you got me, but then you had VR. Sam and Max and Medal of Honor are both coming back in VR. That was announced. Respawn is doing the Medal of Honor VR game, but it was people I've like followed Respawn relatively closely, and the guy that was talking about it in detail was not. I'd never seen him before, and so this is the thing that EA quietly likes to do. Is if they have a studio that gets a lot of praise and prominence, right? They will quietly rename a bunch of smaller studios something like that studio name and then the location they're in, right? Which, like, when BioWare first blew up back in the late 2000s, right? Suddenly there was 4 different BioWares that all were actually old studios that had been renamed, but they could say in marketing from a team at BioWare, right? When really it wasn't them at all. And I think that Respawn might be getting the same treatment right now. So
is that what they did to that fucking Sonic game?
Yes. The answer is yes.
That makes sense. It all makes sense now.
Yeah.
Like, why is this Sonic game so shit? But it's made by BioWare.
It was a different team entirely, and it now became BioWare. And I imagine the 2 doctors, right, who were the head of BioWare, probably showed up like 2 days at the office.
Right.
My God, I mean, that's a good business decision, but God, fucking, it's so misleading.
Yeah, it's real gross. I mean, I want to say Medal of Honor can still be good, right? We don't know, right? But I think it's very funny that they're trying to pull the same trick again. Then 12 minutes. Remember this was at the Game Awards last year, right? It's you and your wife and someone breaks in and you're going through the cycle over and over.
Yes. That was, I thought it was at, like, Xbox E3, but maybe
Or maybe it was. I forget where exactly it was. But it's been a while, and now they had a cast reveal trailer, which is James McAvoy, Daisy Ridley, and Willem Dafoe are the 3 people in the game. And
star-studded.
Heavy hitters.
This is more than you would think. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Which is pretty wild.
Yeah, I'm interested in this game. I mean, I don't think the trailer really showed anything different other than the names, because I think I was like, okay, I kind of remember seeing all this stuff.
Yeah.
But even then, back then when I first saw it, I was like, okay, I kind of want to I want to know more about this. Like, it's just, it looks cool. I want to play it.
I think it's going to be, I think it's like, you don't want to be spoiled on it, right? Because sort of the thing that's special is like the different elements you do and how the game responds in that loop, right? Yeah. So you don't want to get too much of that spoiled by like showing off a bunch of different ways, right?
True,
but
true.
We'll see how it is when it comes out. There was a very funny trailer, which was the WoW Shadowlands trailer, which clearly was supposed to be CG, I think, but I don't think the CG studio could do the work because of COVID. And so it was instead just concept art, basically. There was like still shots of people talking for like 5 minutes, and then this is WoW Shadowlands at the end of it. What you would think.
World of Warcraft is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There it is. Ronald Reagan is back from the dead in Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, which got announced this week. I guess that's worth mentioning. Finally, COD got announced.
Dang.
It's I mean, we're almost in September. This game's coming out in November. It's crazy how long they waited.
We all kind of knew it was coming, but like it's just crazy that they waited so long.
Yeah.
Back to the Cold War, baby.
Run it back.
Everything was simple.
Duty, Black Ops Cold War. You got like fucking 3 titles there.
You do. This is a direct continuation of Black Ops 1. That they made sure to show that Mason was there. The numbers Mason. What do they mean? We already know because of the first game, but he's back.
I never played that game. I don't know what they mean.
Yeah,
the numbers mean kill JFK. I think was what they meant. I think. Yeah, you were a sleeper agent. You were coded by a Russian guy in prison. It was a whole thing.
Mission accomplished.
Mission accomplished. Yeah, that was us. Besides that, Doom Eternal is getting its first DLC. Ills, I know you had some issues with Doom Eternal.
Oof. Yeah, God. It's one of my biggest disappointments of the year, probably. But, I bought the deluxe edition of this game, so I'm gonna get this DLC already.
Yeah, one way or the other.
I don't know if I'm gonna play it, but we'll see. But yeah, we'll see.
My sleeper pick of the show. Are you excited? Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga.
Hey, that's a fair one, man. That actually looked pretty good.
Is it
Lego Star Wars for the list? So
I did. Well, that's the thing is, I thought, is this just another Lego game? And I was talking to Moose, and Moose was like, no, it's actually like pretty different. And I looked, and it is. They're turning I mean, maybe, I don't know, they're not 600, but they're turning Lego Star Wars into like a third-person like action-adventure game.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, they fucking actually changed in the fucking gameplay?
They are. It's now like
Holy
behind
shit.
the back, like you're like locking on and
Alright.
dodging attacks and stuff.
You know what? I'm in.
Open
It's so
world.
weird
now.
that they're naming it the same shit though.
I know. You would think I was like, because we've done the Skywalker. We've done Lego Star Wars, then we did the original trilogy, then we did like 1, 2, and 3 by themselves, and then we did all of them combined. And now we're doing this, which is all of them combined again, but also the new ones, new movies. And you're like, I can't tell if this is new or not anymore. So I think...
Wait, I'm confused. No, they had Lego Star Wars was the 4, 5, and 6.
No,
right?
the first Lego Star Wars was 1, 2, 3.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Lego Star Wars 2
Was 4, 5,
5,
6.
Lego Star Wars 3 was the Clone Wars, like the animated series.
Yes. And then there was Lego Star Wars Episode 3, which was entirely just about Episode 3.
What? I didn't know that was a game.
That was a thing.
And then they did Lego Star Wars The Force Awakens, I think.
Yes. Which was just
I don't
Episode
think
7.
they made one for the next two.
Yes.
Weird. What a weird thing.
Yeah.
I mean, at least we got episode 8 and 9 now, right?
Yeah.
But they already released one called the Skywalker Saga, didn't they?
Yeah, which was 1 through 6.
Yeah, okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it's
This
a
is
mess.
so
I thought
fucking
it was-
confusing.
I thought it was Lego Star Wars. I thought it was like the complete.
I think it's the
Lego Star Wars
complete saga is what it's
The
called.
complete
But like,
saga. Yeah.
No, I mean it's just called the Skywalker Saga. It's not the complete anything. There's no complete anywhere in this title.
Are you
no,
sure?
I mean in the one that was 1 through 6 is called the complete saga.
The other
Oh
release.
god.
Yeah, it's a mess. It's a mess. Which is why if they had a better name, I would be like, oh, it turns out this is different because it is different. They show you like flying around Coruscant, like on like a one of those jet planes in the movie, and I'm like, man,
And you're
I wanna
doing
do
the
that.
Death Star run.
Yeah.
How many times?
It actually looks really cool, honestly, in that trailer.
yeah, yeah. So that's weird. And then, is there anything else you want to talk about before we get to Ratchet and Clank: A Rift Apart?
No.
I don't remember what else they talked about. I mean, so probably not.
Anyone pumped for Turrican coming back?
I haven't played any of the other Turricans.
Yeah, me neither.
Fair enough.
Wait,
There's no.
they had a new trailer for Godfall. You got to talk about that.
Oh,
That was like a
baby.
2-second thing. What the fuck was that?
And we went from 8 minutes at the PS4 thing to nothing here.
I wasn't looking forward to it, so I was like, oh, cool. All right, at least they got that over with. But it was like so weird. It was just like, Godfall, boom, boom, boom. Now it's done. I was like, what?
Hey, what the heck is going on with Star Wars Squadrons? That game's coming out next month. And we've seen a collective 30 seconds in these trailers.
No, we saw more at some point.
EA Play?
Right? Yeah, maybe.
I
It was
just-
EA Play.
It's weird. I feel like
A couple
there's
minutes of
nothing.
that game.
I feel like there's no hype around this video game, maybe that's just Star Wars is in a weird spot right now, you know? Like
Maybe.
Kathleen Kennedy is
Game-
being like, we got to reassess. So,
It's a game I think that my dad would love, but he doesn't have an Xbox or a PlayStation, so.
shout out to Brandon's dad. Keeping the dream alive. So Ratchet and Clank: A Rift Apart. At first, I was like, "Dang, this is a whole new demo." We already saw had the most extensive demo at the PS5 showcase. It turns out they did a sneaky little trick, which was they took this gameplay demo and they edited it down for the PS5 showcase, and now they're showing it unedited. So here it just is.
Yeah, I was like, watching it at first, I was like, okay, yeah, new stuff. And then like halfway through, I was like, wait, I've seen all this shit
Wait a minute.
before.
When we hit the pirate ship, I was like, I know, I've seen this before.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, I remember this.
I thought
The
you were
game
about to
still
do
looks
Pirate
cool
Voice.
though.
I have a question about Ratchet and Clank and sort of the situation with PS5 games in general, right?
Sure.
This is a game that looks very pretty,
Yeah,
but the one thing they're doing a lot of in this game is a lot of particles, right? And do we need to find a new way for game trailers? Because every time they show off this game, my Twitch stream dies. It becomes like in the middle of those fights, it was a jumbled, pixelated mess. I couldn't tell what was happening because there's too much happening on the screen. The bitrate's just killing itself. And I worry that just like at a certain point, like we live in a streaming era, but like we're not gonna actually like see like how good these games look because our internet won't be able to handle it. Like just broadcasting it. There's no larger thought there. It's happened to me twice now, and I've seen Ratchet and Clank, and it annoyed me.
No, yeah, I get that. I mean, I felt that way before. Like, are these fucking videos really showing how good looking these games are? Probably not. I don't know. Can't really get that across via video anymore.
Yeah.
Gotta download those 4K trailers.
That's a good point. And then when you're playing it, like if you are streaming it on Twitch or something, I mean, the viewers are gonna get a little bit lesser of a version than what you're seeing too.
Yeah.
Without actually playing the game. Go out there and play the fucking game, all right?
It's how you feel when you play the game. So there it is. That was Gamescom opening night live. Struggle on that one.
Gamescom. Not to be confused with the Tiger Gamescom, the best handheld that's ever been made.
Right you are, Brandon. Any other news I'm forgetting about that you guys can think of? Or
didn't they have like a Switch Pro rumor or something?
There is. So Takeshi Mochizuki, who is a writer for Bloomberg magazine, he's the Jason Schreier of Japan.
Wow.
Okay.
He gets the scoops, and he said that Nintendo is looking at a Switch Pro in early 2021 to launch. I'm unsure if it might get pushed back because of COVID stuff, but they said that it will be stronger and that they might be eyeing 4K with it, which I'm like, what
the fuck?
How? I don't know. I feel like that's gonna have to be pretty expensive.
The fuck? I'm the blinking man .gif right now.
Yeah. Drew Scanlon. So I mean, we talked about Switch Pros before, rumors, which is sort of why I didn't include it here. I'm just sort of holding off till we get it officially. But I mean, that 4K thing was where I was like, oh, okay. Like, if it was anyone else, I would immediately shrug it off. But this guy has good sources in Nintendo, so I don't know. He did say targeting. He did not say officially 4K. He said they might be targeting 4K.
Okay.
So that is the news for this week. But now, of course, we got to do this as we always do. The list.
The list!
Follow along in the paste bin below as every week we add a game to an ever-growing list of 207 video games. On our Google Doc, which you can see if you click the paste bin below, you see we are just a couple games away from having 6 whole pages of video games.
Well, they don't see the Google Doc on the...
You're right, they don't.
It's,
well, if you
it's
could,
one big-ass list on paste bin.
It's just uninterrupted.
Yeah.
So that is... Last week, Ills, you added a game. It was Mario Strikers Charged. It got to 132 on the list, which you would say, is that low? It's actually very respectable. Very respectable. Brandon.
Yo.
It's your pick this week.
Okay. Well, I guess, we talked a little about this game. We had a little mention about this series earlier in the podcast. Well, I guess I'll add a game from it. Another reason why I want to add a game from this is because there's 3 of us, and I want to make sure that I pick a game that we've all played. And then specifically this game that I'm picking from the series is not the best game from the series, because I don't want to do that to the people who aren't here. So I don't want to be like, you picked my favorite one. No, okay, shut the fuck up. So I'm picking Mario Kart Super Circuit. Have you guys...
Oh, the GBA one?
Game Boy Advance one.
I think I played this.
I have played this one.
I don't have any thoughts on it.
So do you not want to rank that one? Because I can pick a different one.
I mean, it's been so long that I don't remember.
What about Wii?
How about... No.
We're not going to do no like that.
Super Mario Kart. How do you feel about that game?
Super Mario Kart. I played it.
Sure.
You feel you got something to say about that one?
Not really, but we'll do it. That's fine.
About Mario Kart 64.
Okay, here we go.
Okay. Right. Listen, I'm going from my personal worst to best here. I'm working my way up, so we'll stop there.
Yeah.
And because I think, for me at least, Mario Kart Super Circuit probably the worst one, and then Super, maybe Super. Those ones are both like swappable to me.
Yeah.
And then I would say Mario Kart 64 is probably the next one low. Which to a lot of people, they'd be like, "Hold up, bro."
Those people are all old men. They're 45 years old.
People are old. They're probably the same age as me.
They're probably that
but
age.
I fucking, I grow up with the times here. I'm not, But Mario Kart 64 though, still a good game. All the Mario Kart games are still good. Sure. What do I have to say about Mario Kart? I feel like I don't really need to explain it. Mm-hmm. It's fucking Mario.
Well,
you're in a kart.
I think it's worth Mario Kart 64 is worth mentioning. Well, it was a big jump forward.
There's things to say about. I'm just talking like usually. Hey, Brandon. Well, what's Mario Kart? I feel like I don't really need to say that right here, right during this part.
People know what the general concept of Mario Kart is. Yeah.
Yeah. I think. Do we only have one Mario Kart game?
We have Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Right? That's it.
Yeah. See, that's wild. I think it's about time that we put another one. So here we are.
All right.
Mario Kart 64 though.
64.
First 3D Mario Kart.
Sure thing.
Right. But is it really 3D? Because the characters are 2D sprites.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think, go for that game. Go well with that game because one, it's got a unique look to it. I think.
Sure.
And, it still holds up pretty good, and also it helps the game run probably way better than
100%.
They actually used 3D models in that game. So. I think the 2D sprites look like they got that Donkey Kong Country look, right? Like they were 3D models, but then they turn them into like the 2D sprite, whatever the hell that process is called. But yeah, I don't know. I think it looks good. I think the game overall is still a very good game. It's looked like some good tracks, but I think it's I don't know. It's held back by. I guess the N64 itself, the controller.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not the best control in Mario Kart out there.
It's a little slippery.
Yeah.
In a way that doesn't, with any game, there are the hardcores that take the what's the word? What's a nice way to phrase it? The jankiness of the game and turn it into a positive, right?
Sure.
Melee is a janky game, but people turn it into a positive by wave dashing and stuff, right?
Sure.
And Mario Kart 64 has sort of that, right? Because it has that dedicated fan base. But yeah, it's clearly their first attempt at. It's the first Mario Kart game that doesn't have that weird half of the screen split, right?
Yeah. You actually get a full screen.
Yeah. It's the first 3D. It's the first 4-player Mario Kart game.
It's the second Mario Kart game ever, by the way.
Yeah. And the four players is a huge deal for Mario Kart, right?
Huge.
Yeah, it was a big deal at the time. N64, just 4 players in general was a big deal.
Yeah.
I think this is one of like the first N64 games that really pushed that. Using all the controllers and doing 4 players. So
yeah, and it's funny because you mentioned like helping the N64 run it, because when you get above 2 players, the music they don't have enough storage to load the music, so suddenly all the stages don't have music anymore, right?
Yeah.
If you have 4 players. But I think the other thing that it adds is like a big innovation for the series is just it gets away from like Donut Plains 1, Donut Plains 2, right? Like Bowser Castle 1, 2, 3, right? Like there's a lot more unique environments to all the tracks, right?
Yes.
Which is nice. Obviously, I think that's a big step up from the first game.
It's a definite improvement. Of course, a lot of the tracks are kind of bland, but
sure,
they of course improved a lot upon it in further iterations of the series. Yeah. But it definitely is a step up from the first game, and overall they got some nice themes. You're racing on a beach, you're in the snow caps. With giant snow walls around you, and
you're in a chocolate coliseum or mountain, and then like a Wario stadium where you can jump over stuff.
It's like a dirt bike, like a Excite bike kind of looking area, or like a monster truck rally track. There's some cool things, some cool the Donkey Kong level where you're in the jungle and stuff. So, yeah,
and battle mode.
The
It's a big step up from the first game.
The only battle mode that I've ever liked in one of these games.
Yeah, I had a really good battle mode. I was particularly a fan of the one, like the big tower.
Block City?
With the tower. Yeah, I really liked that. I thought that was really cool.
I feel like they've never been able to recapture that magic of the battle mode.
No, I think 8 gets close, but I think, honestly, there's something that's nice about just balloon battle being so easy to understand, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, Mario Kart Double Dash also has pretty decent battle mode, but also, yeah, you're right. Like, it's not... Because they get a little cute with the ball bomb thing, you know?
Yeah.
And,
the Shine Thief and everything else.
Yeah, exactly.
I like 8's battle mode, but I think it's a little too team-based for me, right? Like, there's a couple of modes where you're just like, well, I'm screwed because my team are idiots, right?
That weird, like, arrest each other one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think 8 is still good. It does have a good battle mode, but it's not... Yeah, I mean, the battle mode from 64 is classic. It's very good. It holds up today. It'd still be a fun game to plug in and play with your friends. So.
Yeah. I think there's like a weird conversation around this game because I think for a long time it got held up as nothing's ever as good as 64, right? For a long time, and so I think that a lot of people that sort of came to resent 64 because there was that group that was so loud about it, right? Yeah. But it is a huge leap forward for the series, like, you know, unequivocally. There's a reason that like it had such a strong response when it did come out, right?
I feel like we're talking about Final Fantasy VII right now.
Sure, I get that too.
Not that good. It's not that good.
Yeah, I would say not that good. But Brandon, where do you want to put it? I guess.
All things being said, I think I would like to put it. Man, I mean, here's a question. Well, you played Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transformed, right?
Yeah, I was just thinking about that. Well,
that too.
What do you think, Els?
Played that too? I don't know if it's better than that game.
I think I would put it below. I think the racing in Sonic All-Stars Racing is very satisfying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the dynamicness of the tracks too is really nice in Sonic, right? Like, it's hard because it's just, you know, there's 20 years separating these games or whatever, right?
Yeah.
That's the list.
That's the list. That is the list. So yeah, I'd be fine with putting it below.
Yeah, I mean, because like I look at some of the games under it, right? Like I'm okay with putting it above like Chibi Robo, you know?
Yeah.
And
I would put it below Star Successor.
Put it below Star Successor?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I'm not fussed about that.
Yeah, I haven't played Star Successor. That's one of my New Year's games, so.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I mean, I'm not fussed about that. That's okay with me.
Okay. All right. So there it is. A three-person ranking is always it's very different, dynamic. Mario Kart 64 is on the list at 103, surrounding it at 101, Chibi Robo 102, Sin and Punishment, Star Successor 103, Mario Kart 64 104, Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, and 105, Illusion of Gaia. That is it.
Yeah.
That is a list. But you know, you might be looking at this list when you see it, and this list may be different. Actually, after we've recorded this, because barring Moozamill not losing power because of a hurricane, which is a reasonable rain check, we might be having some ranking to do, some ranker slamming to do. We may have already done it, and you could find probably the archive on either our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/JumpUpSupercast or on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/JumpUpSupercast. Where we go every so often, about 4 times a year, and we say, hey, you know what? Nobody's perfect. And so we're going to re-rank some places where we messed up on the list. And almost always one of us gets mad about something. Because that's the nature of the beast. It's the catchphrase. It's back.
I'm so happy right now. You have no idea.
That is, so that is something you can check out, as well as the Jump Up Supercast Game Club coming up later this week. Right? What you talking about?
We're talking about Phantasy Star 4, The End of the Millennium. And if you want to hear more, 3 people ranking a game on the list. That's where you find them.
That is true. That is true.
We're expertise at having 3 people putting a game on a list. So.
Mm-hmm. And then also, we're having a Game Club Plus, Game Club Extra, which is sort of a thing that me, Ills, and Saf are doing, and anyone else can join in as they see fit. But the Game Club happens every 2 weeks, right? You don't want to play a 50-hour game in 2 weeks, right? So we're sort of just chugging along at different video games that are longer than 25 hours, playing them and going to talk about them in detail. I'm almost done with Suikoden 2. Saf and Ilse have both already beat it. And we're going to have a conversation about that coming up in the next week or so, probably when you hear this. And then after that, probably going to be doing Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning, which is getting a re-release, so isn't that convenient? So that'll be a thing. Of course, Brandon, you mentioned earlier we are on Twitch. You were on Twitch a lot recently, streaming Phantasy Star, streaming Fall Guys, streaming whatever you're playing. So keep an eye out for that.
Maybe I'll stream the next Game Club game too, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
Which, coincidentally, segue baby, it's going to be a Patreon pick.
Yeah. Which we have a Patreon. If you want to help keep the podcast going, we have to pay for SoundCloud every year. You can help us on Patreon. And if you're willing to drop a couple bucks a month, you also get to be in a Discord chat with us if you want to see us post random things. And also can pick once per go around for the Game Club. You can pick the game they're going to be playing if you get drawn out of a hat of you and like 4 other people, so you got pretty good odds.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to change how that works. I mean, if we ever get a bunch, but at this point, you got a good chance.
You got a good chance. So that'll be that.
We also stream Divinity. In case
we do. You do stream Divinity.
Follow us on Twitch.
Follow us on Twitch. So there's that. What else? Is there anything else?
We have social media.
You have Twitter. We have twitter.com/Up Supercast. We have an Instagram.
Yeah.
We have a Facebook. All that stuff. So check us out there as well. Brandon mostly does stuff from those. There also Saf sometimes does what needs to be done.
He plays some weird games like Days Gone and just he likes to post about it. So
yeah,
say hi to Saf if you see him playing Days Gone.
Wave to him. So that is the podcast for this week. Anyone want to do the final phrase as we go?
No.
Yeah. You know I'll do it because I know Il's answer already.
How about it, Brandon?
All right. Well, you know what, everybody here listening still, I just want to say thank you all. Really appreciate everything. You know, just listening this far on the podcast, you know, means a lot because we've been doing this for a little bit now, you know, a couple of years, and we still have fun. So we really appreciate you guys listening. It means a lot. And yeah, if you guys want to give us a follow on Twitch, we're really trying. I mean, I definitely am. I'm trying to stream more often. And it's just fun to interact and talk to people while we play games. And, you know, maybe we'll watch you play, you know, give a little give and take. It's just video games are the best. There's so much good about video games. I know there's a lot of bad things coming out and just in the world in general, you know. So, you know, at least we can all come together and just really enjoy video games during all this. And yeah, so I just want to say, go out, be nice to each other, play video games, and I guess I already said the be nice thing, but that's my outro. So be nice.